Kris, can you talk about the energy that Connor Brown brings to your lineup? We see what he does on the ice, but how that impacts the rest of your team?
Not only does his play help our team win, especially we've seen on the penalty kill and stepping up big at moments. We've seen him last year in the playoffs. This year he's been playing his best hockey. But also, a good player is making your teammates better. Whether that's making them better with a nice pass on the ice or back checking and breaking up a defensive play, whatever it is. But also on the bench, picking guys up, giving some life, and he's one of the more talkative guys in the room and on the bench, and which is good to have that energy. So, and you also have a little more energy when you're playing as well and as confident as you are right now. So Connor's been really helpful in that area.
Him and Matisse Janmark on the penalty kill create a lot of opportunities for themselves and a lot of chances going the other way. What is it that you see that they do so well in that regard?
It's just about checking, not necessarily about defending. It's about checking, and anytime they get those chances, it is reading a play, getting their stick on the puck, breaking up the play, and then countering right away. And they have the speed to beat guys up ice, to get a 2-on-1 or those kind of breaks, but it starts with their reads, and those two have been killing for a long time together, and they've always been good penalty killers, even when they're away from each other. But they've obviously are in sync when they're out there together, and they can read off of when a guy's pressuring, when a guy's protecting, and then making the most out of those opportunities.
Your team has gotten pretty adept at coming back in games. Where do you think the measure of calm comes from? And are you as calm in those situations as you kind of appear to be behind the bench? You seem pretty chill.
Well, learning coaching is just as a player or just seeing other coaches, I know, or when I get worked up, and it really has a positive effect on the team. So the game time is about the players executing, and you want to put them in the position to execute as well as possible. And if you see the coach behind the bench get excited and yelling and screaming, it is just a distraction, and they can't perform. And coaches coach, and they got to be get the team prepared, whether that's for in practices or before the game. But I think when that game starts, it's about the players, and the coaches are kind of just there to facilitate, to help, but the players have to execute, and it comes down to winning and losing. It's the players playing at their best, and I think that's important.
Connor McDavid, he's been shadowed a lot in his career, and obviously in this series it looks like he's going to see a lot of Jack Eichel. But the interesting thing about last night is he was in on the first goal, Eichel wasn't even on the ice. And the second one, Leon provided like a little bit of a screen for Connor to kind of gain the offensive zone. The second he needs to do what he does, I guess. How important is a play like Leon's to detach Eichel from Connor and let him do what he does in the second that he gets?
Well, every team knows where we're most successful, and that's when the puck's in Connor and Leon's hands, the two of them, because they're going to make the most plays. And those two get checked very closely, and especially Connor because of his speed, and if you give him a little bit of space, then he's going to make the most out of it. And Connor's used to that. It's difficult, but he somehow finds a way to score regularly. But there's other ways to create that little space, and whether that's just opening up a lane or other tactics that you can use. Connor, he's usually trying to find all those advantages because of so much awareness is going towards him when he's on the ice.
Kris, having the series lead, especially getting one on the road, has it changed things compared to, for example, last series when we're down 2-0?
Well, it changes the day off for the coaches after a win, opposed to after a loss, when you have to think about it and you have to get ready. So I know there's a big change in that area. But from game to game, momentum always changes. It changes as soon as that puck's dropped. So right now, yes, we feel better that we've got the win, but the goal is to win the next game, and we got to put together a game plan that'll help us. And we know Vegas is going to be a lot better and stronger, and they're going to have some adjustments that are going to counter some of the things that we were doing. We just have to be prepared and play with the same urgency as we had the other night.
Would your decision to play Leon and Connor together, does that mostly have to do with sort of what's going on with them and their game, or does sometimes it has to do with what the other team does? Like, let's say they split things up a little bit. Does that give you the thought maybe we need to be spreading it out too a bit?
I think probably the most important thing is how's our team playing? How are the rest of the lines? And if the other lines hadn't been playing as well, I'd probably been more inclined to separate those two. But the fact that our lines 2 through 4 have been playing really well and there's been some chemistry, it allows me the opportunity to keep those guys together. The other one is, yes, we have to think about what the other team's doing. And I was back and forth before the series started and splitting those up right from shift 1. And, going into game 2, maybe the thought is maybe we are better off switching those or separating those two. And I know in this series, whether it's start of game 2 or halfway through the game or game 3 or whenever it is, we'll be seeing some different looks with our lines. But just with the fact that the way everyone's playing, it gives me a lot more options of what we're going to do.
Was there anything you learned about Vegas playing them live? I mean, obviously you look at them on tape forever, but usually in a series, it's once you get to see a team live, you kind of pick things up.
Well, we saw them late in the regular season, and you pretty much know a team's identity. And playoffs change it a little bit. The intensity ramps up, and the team changes a little bit, whether you're adding an addition with a injured player, somebody's coming out. But I just think that we know that wasn't their best. They're going to have a step. They're going to be a little bit better tomorrow. But I think we have a pretty good understanding how they're going to play.
Of course, I apologize if you've been asked something similar, but can you describe the playoff version of Connor Brown and what that means to the team?
Well, right now he's probably at the top of his game that I've seen. And last year, during the last year's playoffs, was the best I've seen him last year. So obviously, like some of our other players, Janmark, him, and others, McDavid, Draisaitl play even better in the playoffs. They like that competition, where a lot of guys maybe fade, where the competition, the style of game changes, where those guys really elevate their play. I think what I see from Connor right now is, he's always been a very smart hockey player, and now he's really he feels confident with the puck. He's starting to make a lot more plays than he did before, and not forcing things. He's still there, still the dump and chase and having to forecheck when it's nothing else is available, but also being able to just hold the puck and find a late guy or whatever it is. So I think right now it's just he's in a really good spot right now, feeling confident, and you're seeing that on the ice.
It took him a long time to get going last year, coming off that injury, obviously, and he was scratched for the first 6 of 7 playoff games. The series hit the ground running. Is it just a simple matter of him having all that time back, or is there something else?
Well, the injury from last year, that is a big thing. Like, that takes a long time, and I've had players in the past when I first got to the NHL had a surgery like that, and he had a down year before I got there, and I heard a lot about it. It takes a long time to recover from that. It's over a year, and you see Connor Brown in that same situation. It's been a long time, but you've been cleared to play and you can play, but you don't have the same strength. You don't have the same pop, and then once you get that, well, then the rest of your game, the confidence, the feeling the puck, and all that takes some more time. And right now, I think I would say it's fair to say that he's feeling confident and he's feeling 100%, and you're seeing what he used to play like before the injury. So he's been a great addition. He's been playing well defensively, offensively, and we're going to need more of that if we're going to continue on for any more wins.